Welcome to my channel. Today I want to discuss the differences between spiritualists and psychologists, specifically their impressions, their beliefs about their interactions with imaginary others or perceived others. So for spiritualists, this has been the case at two schools of spiritualism that I've studied at, both Berkeley Psychic Institute and the Foundation for Spiritual Development. It was also the belief of an ex-girlfriend of mine, and it was my belief for many years. Spiritualists believe that when they're engaging with imaginary others, that they are engaging with their soul parcels or parts of other souls, namely other souls. So if a spiritualist has a dream in which they're interacting with, say, for my case, I'm going to use Aurora Axenes, who is a star from Norway. Let's say somebody's having a dream in which they're interacting with Aurora. It was the case for me. A spiritualist is going to believe that I'm having this dream because the other's soul or part of their soul is visiting me. It's the same holds true with visions. So clairvoyant visions are a little more than waking dreams. They're like visions of light. But so are dreams. You know, if you're aware of when you're going to sleep, you're going from basically a pitch blackness to light formations, which are dreams. So visions by spiritualists are assumed to be visitations from the souls of others or partial souls of others. Now, psychologists, on the other hand, believe in the notion of internalized objects. And an internalized object is that when we interact with someone enough, or when we watch enough of someone's videos, when we listen to enough of someone's music, or in combination of watching their videos and listening to their music, in particular in the case of Aurora, we internalize them. And once we internalize them, they become like an independent entity in our psyches, namely an internalized object. So then we can interact, and we do interact frequently, with the internalized object. We can dream about them, or we can have visions of them, or we can, in our imaginations, we can choose to relate to them. Much of the work that I do as a psychologist involves imaginal processes. And so it's imaginal work with internalized objects. Also, in my psychological work, I do imaginal work with subpersonalities and with archetypes. But describing archetypes and subpersonalities is outside of the scope of this video. We can just rely on internal objects. So, when a psychologist has a dream of another individual, it's because their internalized object was elicited, and their persona, not the entirety of their psyche, but their persona, is relating to the internalized object Aurora. Vision, same description. They would describe it the same way. My persona is interacting with the internalized object Aurora. Now, the psyche itself is huge, right? The psyche itself is, imagine a huge sun or a huge sphere. That psyche contains like hundreds of internalized objects. It encapsulates tens of archetypes, and it encapsulates tens of subpersonalities. So when I say persona, it's like who we think we are. It's who we show up in the world as. And that's who we are when we're dreaming. It's who we are when we're having a vision. But it's only part of our personality. It's only part of our psyche. It's the persona. So I want to integrate a bit of these two perspectives. And I can do so by pointing out that intuition, which is normally associated with spiritualists, a strong intuition, is actually active for psychologists when they're integrating internal objects. So when I integrated the object in Aurora, my intuition played a large part in determining who it was that this person was. So my internal object aurora is an intuited internal object aurora. So it may be reflective of her true personality because of my strong intuition. But it's not truly reflective of her true personality because, again, this is from the limited experience that I have of her. My internalized object is based on my intuitions and the limited experiences that I have of her. So I think that basically covers everything. So spiritualists, I believe, in large part are suffering from what's called a delusion of grandeur. So those individuals at Berkeley Psychic Institute, FSD, and my ex-girlfriend, and myself formerly, we believe that we're super spiritualists, or believed that we were super spiritualists engaged with the souls of other beings. But I think that's a delusion of grandeur, folks. I'm leaning heavily towards psychology today. That's what I wanted to convey this morning. I hope that helps you. Bye for now.